Will the Pittsburgh Steelers pick up Najee Harris's option? That's the question here on May 2nd. Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports, everybody. I'm Jason. Let's dive into Najee Harris's contract and will the Steelers pick that up? $6.97 million due in 2025. If not, they let him walk as a free agent in 20 after the 2024 season. So will the Pittsburgh Steelers do that? What's his production? Doesn't make sense. They also have Justin Fields that would be due $26 million, but I could honestly say I don't think that will happen today. I do not see the Pittsburgh Steelers even thinking or considering $26 million for Justin Fields would be an option for the 2025 season just due to the significance of the contract and what Omar Khan is trying to do in order of keeping that quarterback room on the cheap to surround those quarterbacks with top shelf options in terms of weapons, wide receivers, running backs, etc., offensive line. So I doubt that to happen. But the real question remains, will they pick up Najee Harris's fifth-year option? Relatively cheap option here, guys, $6.97 million. Would it hurt? I don't think so. I think the Steelers would be okay if they went out and picked up this fifth-year option. I don't think it would be detrimental to them. They have currently right now $20 million roughly in available salary cap space, but this wouldn't mean anything for this year. This would be a 2025 deal. So you would be adding $6.97 million to have Najee Harris secured for one more season after this. So is his production worth that? And it's roughly about 60 yards a game. And I know you give a lot of flack when I say that Najee is worth more than 60 yards a game. Yes, his leadership's good. His ability to fight and wear down defenses and hammer people, yeah, that's all well and good. He gets better as the season goes on, in my opinion. Some may think different, but Najee Harris usually has slow starts to the season, isn't, gaining 100-yard games all the time. He has a running mate in Jaylen Warren, who is very productive, can hit home runs from all over the field. Do the Pittsburgh Steelers rely on a cheaper option in Jaylen Warren instead of picking up Najee Harris's almost $7 million for 1 year option? So if you're the Steelers, what would you do? Would you pick up Najee Harris's fifth year, or do you work out a more long-term contract? Would Najee Harris be willing to take something along the lines of $4 to $5 million per season for an extended period of time, like 2, 3, 4 years? If Najee Harris were to do that, 4 years, $20 million, that equal what, $4 million a year? You could give some of that in a signing bonus to alleviate some of the cap hit if you wanted to in certain seasons by extending him a little bit, adding some extra money to that. But is he the guy? He's going to be, 26 years old. Will be 27 years old whenever he's exercising that fifth-year option. And in running back speak, that's pretty old. And the production is right now 60 yards per game. That's just really, that's the numbers. And if you're the Steelers, is that worth $7 million for next year? Is that worth $7 million going forward if you work out something long term? And that's the ballpark in which your number is, $6, $7, $8 million. I think when you heard Saquon Barkley talking about Najee should hold out, Najee should try to get a little bit more, I'm thinking he's guessing Najee's worth, $9-10 million a year. And I just don't find that to be the situation. I don't think that you need to keep Najee Harris in the building at $9-10 million. That's a significant cap hit in a running back position that is totally, absolutely devalued right now. And there's no reason to do that. You can get a running back to give you 60 yards production in a lot of different places. So if you're the Steelers, I just don't think that this would be a wise option. Now, you could do it for this year. $6.7 million is cool, and it would buy you an extra year to figure out what you could do with Najee long term, and it would give you an option, too, to see what he can do inside of an Arthur Smith offense, a more run-centric, more run-heavy, bigger personnel type packages, and Najee should shine. That's exactly this should exactly play into Najee Harris's hand here. This should play into his skill set. It should play into the way he likes to run the football. And Arthur Smith has been known to make guys look pretty damn good at the running back spot, i.e. Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry became the king, man. Really shined underneath of Arthur Smith. And could Najee Harris do the same thing? A guy that runs in a similar style. He's not Derrick Henry, but he likes to use his body, be big, bruising, and wear down defenses as the game goes on to make you not want to tackle him. Najee sometimes gets to be a little weird with his running style whenever he tries to jump over people. I've never understood that, especially when it's a one-on-one with him and a DB and he's trying to hurdle them 20 yards down the field. I never could understand that, being his size, having that type of momentum coming down the field and you're trying to hurdle somebody. Plow their ass over. Quit trying to hurdle them. Quit trying to be something you're not. And I feel like Najee Harris needs to remember that at times. But the question remains, do you spend this type of money on a guy that gives you 60 yards a game? And that is the reality. And we keep going back to that point because you can't avoid it. You can't not look at it. You have to look at that. 60 yards a game is not that great. But he does provide other things. The leadership quality that he brings to this football team on offense, a veteran leader, a guy that's been in the building for a long time. He's a number one overall pick. We'll get to that point too. But there are other things that give Najee a little bit of value. And I think Russell Wilson, being the quarterback that's coming in for his first year as the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback, might have a rough time, just getting that offense to really look up to him as the leader that first year. He might need 2 years or so to really get going as the team's de facto leader. But a guy like Najee Harris is a good bridge guy for that. A guy that everybody knows they look up to. They know him very well. He's been in the building. He's a big-time fighter, really believes in the system, believes in the Steeler way. So, that's positive too. But just because when I just said a minute ago, Najee Harris is a first-round pick, okay. But does that mean much to you? I mean, honestly. Does that mean that you sacrifice a great deal of money and put yourself in a financial pinch in terms of salary cap just to be able to keep Najee Harris when you know the running back position's devalued and you could spend it somewhere else and you could bring somebody in way cheaper? You could have Jaylen Warren be your lead runner at probably $2 million per year for several years here. An undrafted rookie free agent that came in last year that really, really shined. I thought that did really, really well. But Jaylen Warren would be a way cheaper option if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you still have Najee for 2024. And if you pick up that 50-year option, you know that you're committed to $7 million against the salary cap. That going into a season in which you know that you have to be able to secure the quarterback room. And you have two guys right now in that quarterback room that are on 1-year cheap deals. But now you look at 2025, you're going to have to create cap space in order to sign somebody. Do you sign Russell Wilson? Are you signing Justin Fields? And regardless of who you sign, you're still going to need money. And do you want Najee Harris eating up $8 million, $7 million of that money? Is he worth it? Does he provide that much value to your football team? That is the real question here today. Here, May 2nd, before 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Pittsburgh Steelers have to make the decision. Will they sign Najee Harris to that 50-year option? Or do the Steelers work out a long-term deal? And does that long-term deal look like something more of the $4 to $5 million range? Because I think that should be your absolute max in my eyes. So right now, I think, honestly, what the Pittsburgh Steelers will do, and this is all dependent on whether Najee Harris is on board with this or not. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers extended offer to Najee Harris of 3 to 4 years at $15 to $20 million. And I think they throw in a signing bonus this season because they have a little bit of extra cap space right now. I think they would throw in a $4 or $5 million caps or a bonus, like a roster bonus or something of that nature, to where Najee could reach almost to, different heights here in his first year of that contract, maybe to where he does get almost to $10 million in year one just with the bonuses. But after that, it kind of levels out and you're looking at that $4 to $5 million range and you keep him for 3 to 5 years. That's what the type of deal that I think the Steelers are really looking at. And I think that that's where they would be comfortable offering him. But beyond that, I don't think that this would work out financially. And I don't think that he provides enough production that it matters for you to go out there and spend $10 million. I just don't think it would make sense. And you got to make sense. You got to make it work, man. And that's the biggest thing, the salary cap and how this all works out. And I've told you before, I think the salary cap is fictitious, but you still got to play within the parameters of it. There's many ways to adjust it and many ways to manipulate the salary cap, but you're still going to have that bottom dollar, and you got to figure out ways to get out from underneath it. And do you want to have a headache of trying to figure out how to get a guy that gives you 60 yards a game and try to figure out his salary every year just to bring down his cap hit? I'm not so sure. But again, guys, I'm not Najee Harris bashing. I think he's a quality running back. I think that he can do some good things. I just don't think that 60 yards a game means that much. I just don't think it means $10 million a year. I don't think it even means $7 million a year. I think Najee will definitely shine here in 2024. I think this would be a system in which he does pretty good in. But if you're the Steelers, you don't want to allow this season to unfold and let him get some big monster yardage and let him do some really good things. Then you are pinned against the wall, and then you are going to have to figure out how to pay him because he's not going to accept anything less. Or you just say to him, "Hey, man, we ain't figuring out a deal. Ride with him for 2024, see how he goes, let him test the free agency market." Not like he's going to sit out going into free agency. That ain't going to happen. So he's going to want to come in and fight and get it as many yards as he can to increase his value for other teams. And if you're the Steelers, you could be the beneficiary of that and decide to let him go and figure out something maybe more long-term with someone else. Maybe Jaylen Warren becomes your new guy after Najee. Maybe you rode him out as long as you possibly can. So that's it, guys. That's all I really wanted to talk about. But Najee Harris going into today, May 2nd, with that fifth-year option, a guy that's going to be 27 years old by the time he's playing on that fifth-year option with 6 receiving touchdowns, 866 yards. I believe that was like 2021 or something. Let me look at his stats again. 2022, 272 attempts for 1,034 yards, average 3.8 a carry with 7 touchdowns. Yes, he does get a lot of touchdowns in short yardage, but you're looking at an offense that hasn't been able to pass the football in many years. And then you look at 2023, 255 attempts for 1,035 yards at a 4.1 average with 8 TDs, 98 catches. So he has career 144 catches, a career 22 touchdowns. How ironic, that's his number. He averages 3.9 yards a carry at 3,269 yards at 834 attempts. So, hey, man, those are the numbers. Do the math. It averages out to roughly 60 yards a game. So, yeah. Touchdowns are cool, but hey, you're not really willing, I don't think, to go out there and spend that monster money that is going to maybe be required to keep Najee. Again, I like Najee. I like him being a Steeler. Maybe they can work something out. Hopefully they can. But they definitely got to make it make sense financially, and they definitely got to make it make sense in terms of his fifth-year option. So we'll see how this goes today, pre 4 o'clock. I think you'll start to hear some news around lunch, maybe a little after that, of Najee Harris and how this deal all goes down. So the Pittsburgh Steelers could have themselves a running back that's committed for a while if they work out a deal, or they can have at least a running back, a number 1 running back that's committed for 2024 and 2025 at that fifth-year option rate. So until next time, guys, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. Don't forget to join us tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Steel City Live. Until then, peace.